Welcome everybody to another BOSSAGE channel stream. This stream is latest military news update. These first started happening because, well, the first one was when I went on holiday for 10 days and obviously didn't have access to the computer and whatnot. But if you are a follower of my channel, you'll know all about that. And then I did another one, I believe, because the job I'm in, and because I'm not on like set shifts, and this one, it was just, they seem to work. So if you do like them, please smash that notification bell so you're updated with all my new content. Please like, comment, subscribe. Everything you do is much appreciated. I see it as a massive show of support. If I get up to 100 subscribers, I will buy a green screen, and then all this will just vanish. And when I'm doing my military videos, it'll have military related pictures. When I'm doing gaming, which tends just to be Elite Dangerous, it'll be pictures of that. So yeah, you get the idea. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Unlike most of these videos that I do, which tends to be around like the Royal Navy, and there tends to be stuff about Russia. There isn't actually anything about Russia. Before I do these videos, I put all the news articles into like different colour groups, tabs. So this is interesting. I've got stuff from South Korea, Japan, China, CSG 21, which, as you're all aware, is a Carrier Strike Group 21, which obviously is the Royal Navy, and then I've got another tab with the Royal Navy that hasn't got anything to do with the Carrier Strike Group whatsoever, and I've got United States. So we'll start with the Japanese tab. It may go on to 2 streams, it may not. We'll see where I get to. So this one was August the 30th. The Nimitz class aircraft carrier of the US Navy, USS Carl Vision, went to Japan. This article's a bit confusing, to be honest, because of one main reason. It doesn't add up. It's gone to, and you have to excuse my pronunciation, but it states in this article that the USS Carl Vision has gone to the Yokosuka Naval Base, which, if anybody keeps up with military bursts their own country and abroad, the Yokosuka Naval Base in Japan is where the USS Ronald Reagan is. It's its home port. Although it's an American aircraft carrier, that is where it and its Carrier Strike Group is based. But this article states that no time frame has been given to how long it's going to be in Japan, although and I'm going to read it word to word here. Aircraft carrier replenishment cycles typically last between 3 and 4 days. But then it goes on to say the carrier now homeported at Yokosuka, the USS Ronald Reagan, departed earlier this summer to support US forces from Afghanistan. So it's saying basically it's the Car Vision swapped with the Ronald Reagan. But it's also saying that the Car Vision's only there for a replenishment cycle. So I'm taking it as there's 2 Nimitz class aircraft carriers in that region in the Pacific, which is good, really, with what's kicking off with China. I've heard rumours that North Korea started up with the nuclear missile program again. So yeah, take what you want from that article. But yeah, and obviously there's quite a lot of other forces from America over there as well, because they joined up with the Royal Navy's Carrier Strike Group. In Nimitz class aircraft carrier, it's the USS America, which is one of America's amphibious assault ships. So, but yeah. But that would be an awesome sight to see, that a Nimitz class aircraft carrier, because it's got the Ospreys aboard, which I have seen fly over my house rather. But it's got the F-35Cs, and for anybody that doesn't know, the F-35 Lightning jets, there's 3 variants: the A, the B, and the Cs. The A's have got no capability whatsoever to land and take off from a ship. They're just from a landlocked airport, and that's what they're for. They can carry more weapons, bigger fuel tank. It's what they do. The B's have got the vertical takeoff capability, and that's what both Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carriers carry. But also ships like the USS America, the amphibious assault ships, can carry them as well. Not as many as an aircraft carrier, but still can carry them. If anybody wants to know more about these articles or want me to go in greater depths, just leave a comment in the stream and I'll go back. So yeah, that's the Japanese tab. Done. There was only 1 article. Same with South Korea, which I'll move on to now. So South Korea, their Hyundai Heavy Industries and Babcock International have joined forces, and they are going to have a partnership regarding the CVX aircraft carrier project. So this is an aircraft carrier for South Korea. 2 islands, like the Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carrier. There is a picture. I'll pop the link in the description of this stream, and then you can have a look. I've not swapped from my camera to showing what's on my display before. I'm not quite sure if it'll disrupt it, so I won't bother. But yeah, it looks interesting. It sort of looks, to me, I can see elements from the Charles de Gaulle, the Gerald R. Ford class, and the Queen Elizabeth class. It's got 2 islands like the Queen Elizabeth. And it's got the ramp as well, but it just reminds me of like the Gerald Ford, because although that's only got 1 island, and that's towards the back of the carrier, the 2 islands on this carrier for South Korea are to the back, whereas on the Queen Elizabeth, the sort of central, they're in the middle. And it looks quite long, although it's only 45,000 tons, so it is the same displacement as the Charles de Gaulle. It does look amazing. It does look, like I said, a bit like a miniature Queen Elizabeth class. It's at least 20,000 tons lighter. So it's going to be South Korea's first aircraft carrier, which is set to be capable of short takeoff, vertical landing fighter jets. It's replacing their helicopter carriers. Which will be good. It'll give South Korea more military power in their navy. Moving on, really, because there's not a lot I can really say. The project's just started, and there's not a lot to go on. Moving on to America tab. So this article was published 2 days ago, and it's saying that the USS George H.W. Bush has finished its repairs. Its repairs, its refit, it's all done. So this is the last time that this carrier is going to have any major lengthy refurbishment and repairs. They took 1.3 million work hours and 30 months. But yeah, it went through extensive repairs. But yeah, she's the last and therefore Nimitz class aircraft carrier built for the United States Navy, originally laid down in 2003 and then in service in 2009. Yeah, and that's... yeah, so she's got a 25-year lifespan now. She's already been in service for 25 years. But nuclear reactors need to be refueled after 25 years. So, obviously, she's gone in, refueled, modernised, So, yeah. Next article is, and I've touched on this topic briefly before, it's about F-35Bs operating off Japanese warships. They've got helicopter carriers. I believe they've got 4, split into 2 variants. And at least one variant is getting overhauled to be able to withstand and operate the F-35s. The F-35s, as with any vertical takeoff aircraft, shoot down intense heat when it's taken off. So obviously, with these Japanese ships not being originally designed for planes, especially vertical takeoff, they've had to have heat resistant paint go on them, and they've had to be fitted out to be able to, but so it's saying here that US Marine F-35B Lightning II Joint Strike Fighter will operate off a Japanese warship later this year. It says November. It'll embark on one of the 2 24,000-ton Azuma class helicopter destroyers. So as I was saying, not designed for planes, they're helicopter carriers. Japan, I don't know if it's how it's translated from Japanese to English, or if the Japanese do class them as destroyers, but the Azuma class helicopter destroyers are, I think majority of people outside Japan would say they're helicopter carriers, but yes, Japan quite a bit back did ask for permission to use them as aircraft carriers. That got granted, so obviously now they've had to be converted to be able to withstand the heat of an F-35 jet taking off. And I believe, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but Japan has almost certainly asked for permission to design and build an aircraft carrier. Japan after World War II were banned from building aircraft carriers. They were stripped of that capability and permission, but have now working the way of getting it back. So, and it's mainly fueled on by the fact Russia, what they're doing, as well as North Korea and China, the unstable elements, we'll call them 3, of the area. Japan wants to defend itself better, and the rest of the world pretty much has got no problem with that. So yeah, the Azuma complete the first phase of modifications to accommodate F-35s in July. The second modification which is going on, the bow shape of Azuma will be changed from its current shape to a rectangular shape to make it easier to operate F-35Bs. Other changes are planned also. Japan is planning to buy 42 F-35s. But yeah, so they're going to have 2 aircraft carriers really. Small, like 24,000 ton. I think they'll still be classed as helicopter carriers, but they can carry F-35s. That'll give Japan a massive boost. Last but not least, this third article in the tab. If you've only just joined the stream, as the title suggests, this is the latest military news from around the world. My opinion, my outlook on it, and what I do is, I think, yes, sorry, OBS just disconnected, so if you didn't quite catch that, what I do is get all the news that I think is interesting and relevant, stick it into tabs, but in groups on Google, and then I go through it. So yeah, this last one is US withdrawal from Afghanistan. Sorry, not had much sleep, was at work last night. So yeah, Afghanistan will lead to EU army, says top diplomat. I don't think it will. I think, I mean, as a UK citizen and no longer part of the EU, I'm sure we won't have an EU army. It'll just be like it always been. If there's trouble, then allies will lend a hand. It's you can sort of take what's happening in South China Sea as an example, to be honest. There's trouble over there with China, and we've got loads of countries that have got the same belief as us, that China's in the wrong and that, and they just send ships and forces to promote that China's in the wrong and to promote freedom of navigation. So, although I'm debating with a top diplomat here, yeah, I don't think we're going to have an EU army, because I think it'll then lead to money again. It'd be like, so we've got them troops from that country, we've got them tanks from that country and that, but we'll need money from that country to upkeep the army. Everybody will have to put into the pot, if you get what I mean. So no, I'm pretty sure the United Kingdom won't go for it, because we just come out of the EU, so it's like we've been paying all that money just for basically membership of the EU, but then you wanting us to put money in for the EU army? No. We won't refuse to help. Most likely we'll send we'll probably send HMS Bulwark or Albion with troops and equipment, but no, there won't be a EU army. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm going to move on to China now and do the Royal Navy, then the carrier strike, end it with the carrier strike group. So this article grabbed my attention straight away. Anything China related. The things that grabbed my attention the most, obviously Royal Navy, because I am from the UK, support our forces and that, but China and Russia, instantly, when I'm scrolling on my Google News feed and I see something about them, it's like, I'll send it to my brother's Facebook, and then I'll open the link and I'll do one of these videos. So yeah, so there's been latest pictures of China's third aircraft carrier. Staggering success at building aircraft carriers, China is at the minute. doing it at an extreme pace. I'm sure this article, because I was reading it on the way to work, it was mentioning that it took 10 years for India to build their latest aircraft carrier. Yeah, it says here, the INS Vikrant, it took 10 years for the whole process for that aircraft carrier, from pen to paper to actual sea trials. 10 years. The China, and you'll have to excuse the pronunciation again, China's first aircraft carrier was the Liaoning, was a Soviet-era Klonets class carrier bought from Ukraine, which was refurbished and joined service in 2012. The second, which is the Shandong, improved upon the Leihong, and learning lessons from the extensive modifications, was completed within 5 years of being beginning of construction. So yeah, started in April 2018, joining service a year later. The Shandong is still broadly considered a knockoff of the Liaoning, but a notable evolution in the speed, expertise and capability of the Chinese industry, the Chinese industrial base. Both have the same ski jump on the deck that prevents carrier-borne flights being launched with the full payload. The third, which is called Type 003, which I probably won't better say that because of copyright reasons for James Bond, which does sound completely bizarre, but I read somewhere in the car manufacturer and they were going to call it it was Persia, I'm sure it was Persia, with their 1007, they were going to call it the 1007, and they couldn't. But anyway, going off on a tangent. Back to the task in hand. So the third carrier is called Type 003 for now, and apparently it's a different beast altogether. It's 10 meters longer than her predecessors. It is likely to be the largest non-American aircraft carrier in the world. Even better, China took a leap from the short takeoff but arrested recovery system and is looking towards getting the electromagnetic launch system. So this, like it says in this article, is an entirely different beast. It's got here planned for a fourth aircraft carrier ? There's no question mark needed. China has stated, and there's been numerous articles in the past, China, and I have stated it on my channel before, China is wanting to go like for like on aircraft carriers with the United States. So at the minute, the United States has got 11 aircraft carriers, well 11 super carriers, and it's got other warships that are classed as carriers. Well, they're as big as carriers anyway. But yeah, so although that 11 will drop back down to 10, it's only because, like at the minute, all 10 Nimitz class aircraft carriers are still in operation. The USS Nimitz has got a maximum life of another 4 years, with decommissioning no later than 2025. So obviously as soon as she's decommissioned, the number will drop down to 10. It's only 11 because the Gerald R. Ford is service. It's operational. That number will obviously keep fluctuating for the next 25 years because of how many JLR 4 classes have been built. Still 10, but then obviously it takes a hell of a lot longer to build an aircraft carrier than it does to take one out of service and decommission it. But yeah, but yeah, it does say here by the time India's aircraft carrier, the Vikrant, is commissioned, so in a couple of years' time, China will have launched the Type 003, making China a 3-carrier navy. So at the minute, it's neck and neck with the UK. The UK is a 2-carrier navy, and obviously the only country to have more than us is America. But number wise, in 2023, China will be above the UK. It'll have more. Doesn't mean it'll be better, because China's knowledge, capability and expertise in building aircraft carriers is still lagging behind everybody else. I mean, England invented the aircraft carrier, so it's, although the US builds them quicker, faster and more of, but I mean, they've got the funds to do so. So next article, like I did say before, if you want any of these articles explaining further, or you wanted the links, please put in the comments and I'll do my best to accommodate you. So this next one actually irritated me a hell of a lot when I saw it. So China, and I believe it's already been passed, because I'm sure I read this article and it said by the end of the week. So actually this article was updated today. China has passed a new maritime law which means that foreign vessels, both military and commercial, will be henceforth required to submit to Chinese supervision in Chinese territorial waters. So yeah, so it was from the 1st of September this law came in. I've stated before on this channel, China is looking for trouble. They're wanting to start trouble. I don't care who you are, what position you are, what job you are. If you analyse military tactics for a living, if it's your job and you get paid God knows how much money to do so, you are wrong if you say China's not wanting to start trouble, to start a conflict. Because even... Well, so let's go back a bit. So, this isn't just in what is globally recognised as Chinese waters. It is in the disputed South China Sea, the East China Sea, and the Taiwan Strait. It's in all them waterways. China has given itself power and permission to force any vessel, either either military or commercial, to submit to a Chinese supervision. So the new law, foreign vessels, both military and commercial, will be henceforth required to submit to Chinese supervision in Chinese territorial waters, as per the new law. The state-run Global Times, quoting the country's Maritime Safety Administration, said that operators of submersibles, nuclear vessels, ships carrying radioactive materials, and ships carrying bulk oil, chemicals, liquefied gas, and other toxic and harmful substances are required to report their detailed information upon their visit to Chinese territorial waters. So, that's everything. So it says submersibles. Right. That's only meaning one thing. Submarines. So China is completely out of its head here. In what situation is any nation going to get in contact with China and say, right, we've got this submarine passing through your waters, although submarines are designed and built to go anywhere they please undetected, we are contacting you to say that we are sending one on that day. It'll be on them coordinates. Our current coordinates are here. We are carrying these ordnance. It's not going to happen. This is going to lead to conflict because they'll try and get ships. But this is another dig, another blow at freedom of navigation in waters close to China that aren't actually Chinese waters. They've got no claim on them. Yeah, it's called the South China Sea, but it's freedom of navigation. So, and it's not just military that's going to get more tense and annoyed with China with this. It's like anything that has to travel through Chinese waters or the Taiwan Strait, obviously it's on a time scale. If it's commercial goods, then it's got to get, and if it's going to Italy and it's, I don't know, some bananas for argument's sake, and it's got to be there by a certain date, otherwise you can't sell them because they won't be on the shelf too long because they'll just go out of date quick. You can't exactly turn around and go, right, blame it on because I got detained by the Chinese because they wanted to inspect the ship. They wanted to know exactly what I was carrying, where I'm coming from and where I'm going. Because each ship has like a slot to get through, like the Suez Canal and that. That they have to wait to go through anyway. Which is like a people understand that way, that to be detained out of the Suez Canal, you've got to go through safely. So the report goes on to add that vessels that endanger the maritime traffic safety of China will be required to report their name, call sign, current position, and next port of call and estimated time of arrival. The name of shipborne dangerous goods and cargo deadweight will also be required. Yeah, so this article also does refer back to a law that was passed in February authorising the Chinese Coast Guard to use weapons on foreign vessels and to demolish economic structures in disputed areas. China is wanting a conflict. And like it says here, nearly 1/3 of the world's shipping goes through there. So ships are going to be detained left, right and centre. So it's either commercial vessels, by the sounds of it, are going to have one of two choices. Pick a different route, which is going to take ages. If there is even a different route, because if you're coming from Vietnam and that, you'd have to come like the Pacific, go past America, and then if you're wanting to get to like Africa or Italy or anywhere like that, it's going to be such a ball ache. So it also says currently international maritime activities are governed by an international agreement called the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, of which China, India and over 100 other countries have signed the Royal Agreement to. Although the US hasn't signed it, it says here. So, but yeah, China's new law does violate this. It does say the US, which routinely holds naval exercises in the region, is unlikely to abide by Beijing's law. Well, yeah, because they're just wanting to cause trouble out there. I could go on about that forever, but we'll move on to the Royal Navy now. So the United Kingdom Ministry of Defence awards contracts for fleet solid support competition. So I'm just trying to find the date of this article. Yes, so on the 1st of September, the Ministry of Defence awarded contracts to 4 consortia to develop their bids to develop 3 new fleet solid support ships for the Royal Fleet Auxiliary and the Royal Navy. So obviously these ships are to support the Royal Navy operations, to support the aircraft carriers, refuel them and that. Each contract is roughly worth about £5 million. But yeah. Next article is just pretty much the same. And it just basically saying that they're going to be UK They're going to be British companies that do it. Yeah. And the next article is the same, although it's actually on the Royal Navy website. But it goes on to say that it'll increase the capability and development of the Carrier Strike Group to operate globally by replenishing its stores and ammunition. And then the fourth and final tab within this group, the Royal Navy. You're just saying the competition narrows, so it has been going on for a while. So now the final tab, Carrier Strike Group 21. HMS Diamond has set sail to rejoin the Carrier Strike Group after its repairs. HMS Diamond obviously is a Type 45 destroyer. She's one of the 2 Type 45 destroyers deployed with the Carrier Strike Group. Obviously she's a fair bit behind. She's currently navigating the Suez Canal, and the Carrier Strike Group is near Japan. So she's got a fair old distance to go. There is a video with it, which is the Defence Secretary, and it just goes on about the intentions, saying that the Carrier Strike Group is on deployment in a competent but non-conventional manner. And it says that this month has taken part in joint exercises with the Republic of Korea Navy in the Indo-Pacific region. So yeah. So the exercises come after HMS Queen Elizabeth's planned docking in Busan in South Korea was cancelled due to COVID-19 restrictions. That confused me a little bit, because like the Carl Vision is docked in Japan, but they've just locked the base down and they're not allowed on off the ship, or they've opened certain parts and said, right, the crew is only allowed to go there but nobody else. Moving on, because this video is getting to some length. So yeah, so this was on the 31st of August. HMS Queen Elizabeth arrives in Korean waters. Its ties between the United Kingdom and South Korea strengthen. It will be actually quite a sight to see a Queen Elizabeth class aircraft carrier with the South Korean aircraft carrier. HMS Queen Elizabeth arrived in Korean waters as she continues her 28-week deployment. She left Portsmouth on May the 22nd, which I believe I've got a video of her leaving. I've got videos of her departing, and the USS Sullivan's got pictures of her. That's in another video if you want to check that out, guys. But yeah, so HMS Queen Elizabeth, she arrived in Korean waters after exercising alongside the US and Japanese vessels, also taking part in 2-day gunnery training exercise of an uninhabited tropical island in the Pacific Ocean. Also, South Korean Black Hawks land on HMS Queen Elizabeth. Plenty of room on a 65,000 tons supercarrier. And since she was built for the Royal Navy and it's British, you know she can take such operations. But yeah. There's not much else on this article. It just sort of goes on. It mentioned about the Black Hawks in it. It's pretty much the same as an article I read about the carrier strike group when it just deployed. It's got a picture of the ships, saying about the length of time of the deployment, the fact it'll visit up to about 40 nations, including India, Japan, Korea, Singapore, and it'll be covering 26,000 nautical miles. Next article. Yet again, just reiterating that HMS Queen Elizabeth conducts combined exercise with the Republic of Korea Navy in the Sea of Japan, near the Korean Peninsula. She was joined by the Republic of Korea amphibious ship Doctor, along with an Aegis destroyer and submarines, participated into the exercise for the first time in the history of their relations. Even though it's the third time that a UK aircraft carrier visits South Korea since last visits of light aircraft carriers HMS Invincible in 1992 and HMS Illustrious in 1997. So and it goes on about the Korean Navy spending time to take a tour of HMS Queen Elizabeth. I have seen some very early designs of the Korean aircraft carrier. Like I said earlier on in this live stream, it sort of does look a cross between the Charles de Gaulle, which is a French nuclear powered aircraft carrier, the Queen Elizabeth aircraft carriers, and looks got some design features from the Gerald R. Ford aircraft carriers. But it goes in here, naval news. I don't know where this article originates from, but it says the UK came to kill two birds with one stone in terms of national interest. First of all, it can now publicly show the solidarity between allies such as the US, Japan, South Korea through combined naval exercising targeting the Chinese PLAN that pursues maritime expansion towards the Pacific. Also, the UK used this opportunity to solidify its stance that favours the multilateral bond with liberal democratic states that share common values regardless of distance between Europe and Asia. The UK government even announced a new security policy last March that it will prioritise the Indo-Pacific region by cooperating with like-minded states against China's provocations. Second, The UK can now expect more cooperation and benefits in its defence industry, considering that the government and British companies promote their carriers combat system and air control capabilities to South Korea. This is the second to last article. The UK Carrier Strike Group, and this was published today. It's going to visit Japan from this weekend, so you can say today, tomorrow, Sunday sort of thing. The visit will be a powerful demonstration of the UK's close and enduring partnership with Japan and the UK's commitment to maritime security in the Indo-Pacific region. Please comment and ask questions if you want. It goes on to, there's loads, I'm not going to read it word for word, I'm just going to try and summarise it. But yeah, obviously, meeting up in Japan. It says in August, the ships and aircraft of the SG-21 undertook a multinational joint exercise with global allies, including the Japanese Self-Defense Forces and US forces. Japan. The exercises were designed to build, obviously, the friendships between the partners and everybody, both nations and all that. The Carrier Strike Group will continue with the programme of bilateral maritime and air exercises with Japan's self-defense forces over the next few weeks. Royal Navy ships from the Carrier Strike Group, HMS Kent and HMS Richmond, both Type 23 frigates, also visited Japanese port of Sasebo last month. That's just notes for editors, so I don't need to know about that. And then it's the last one. Again today, aircraft from HMS Queen Elizabeth and American aircraft carrier USS Carl Vision have conducted joint flights in the Pacific. So yeah, that does put another sort of like twist, another spin on the whole thing about Carl Vision being over there. When I was on about the Ronald Reagan, you would have thought that the Carl Vision would have teamed up with HMS Queen Elizabeth as it left Portsmouth. Although I know for a fact Nimitz class aircraft carriers cannot fit within Portsmouth harbour. They dock outside the Isle of Wight, and then they get brought in by smaller ships. Just got so many tabs here, but yeah, so it may be true. Carl Vision might have taken over from Ronald Reagan and is now home ported at Japan. But yeah, as well as this, F-35s are I know for a fact they've taken off from Queen Elizabeth, low on fuel, low on weaponry, landed on USS America and refueled, and that. So it's just to show that they can work together. But yeah, if you have stayed with me for that entire video, I thank you so much for doing so. I'm just trying to find how long it was for. I do apologise again for the break in the middle. That was OBS. First time it's actually buggered up like that. But yeah. Please like, comment, subscribe. I am going to, like I said, put the news article about the Korean aircraft carrier and the one about China in the description. Please take a look. Very interesting. And I'll see you next time.